Hello and welcome all to another episode of the Spooky Spooky Horror Show podcast. I'm your host Sean, and today I'm joined by writer, director, actor, producer, and creator of the Sharp Candy series of films and books, Dylan R Nix. How you doing today?
Good, man. That sounded pretentious as hell. Actor, writer, producer, all that shit. Ugh.
I mean, technically,
well,
you're
yeah,
all of it.
I wish I wasn't, but
Yeah.
I mean, you're an independent filmmaker, right? I mean, you've done projects. I mean, like I don't know about you, but I work a normal job. Like, I've been doing this since I left high school, like 10 plus years ago. I just wanted to make movies. I didn't have money to go to school, so like, I'm just kind of self-taught, and I'm still always learning. And I hate having to wear multiple hats, but just sometimes, like, it's just how it goes, you know.
Honestly, I found that by having to wear multiple hats when you can work with a bigger crew where you don't need to, you're much more adaptable.
Or like, for instance, I've been actually working on the like opening titles of the current movie I'm doing, and you know, like, I hate giving myself so many titles. It just sucks. And then it's especially because then, like, you know, if people have, when they write the reviews, they're like, you know, you're responsible for it all, and so they just, no wonder this sucks. It was written, produced, directed, starred by this asshole. And I'm like, I promise it's not on purpose. It's just that
budget,
I have to pay
time.
myself. I like to think I can do an okay job, and you know, my goal. Look, dude. Even if you were to tell me I'll never make a dime doing this, I'd still do it. Like, it's just because I love to do it.
Yeah.
And there's been, you know, a handful of people off and on throughout the years that like a project that I've done. They've bought a Blu-ray that I've released, and that's what means the world to me. Like, there's been a few people that have bought my books, and that's cool. Like, that's what I live for. Yeah, it sucks having to deal with the negativity. You're right. It has helped me out wearing so many hats. Like, I've worked with witching season films a lot, and like, I helped on the Pumpkin Man like 2 years ago that got released through Scream Team, and I felt like all the experience that I've had from my own projects to other projects, it's crazy how much it really mattered then, and I never really appreciated it until then.
I feel like everyone has like that film that they see where they go, I want to do that. For me, as much as I love horror, the movie that made me go, I want to make movies, was the 1960s Batman movie.
Interesting. Okay.
The Adam West. Watching them climb up, and even as a little kid, I realized they're not vertically going up, they're horizontal doing it, and it's part of the magic, but it doesn't ruin it for me. And I was like, I want to make movies. I want to live in this world. I want to create like cool things. This is what I want to do. What was the movie that kind of made you go, this is what I want to do?
I mean, I know the easy answer, and it actually is a horror movie. It's Friday 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. And but that was what made me want to be a filmmaker. Before that, I had grown up like always wanting to be an actor. I just like, I would do, you know, performances for my family, and I was always trying to make people laugh, and so I knew I wanted to make movies. But it wasn't until I saw Friday 13th Part 6. I was like 8 years old. It was late at night. It was like on Spike TV or something, and I was supposed to be in bed, and it came on TV, and it was from the beginning, and I was so I mean, I was terrified, but I was so mesmerized. I was like, what the fuck am I watching? You know, this guy's getting electrocuted coming out of the ground. He's got worms on him. He's punching a guy through the chest. And I literally was just, as a little kid, like, whoa, my world has been changed. And I didn't think I finished it all, but I watched a good bit of it. So then the next day I went across to my street at my grandmother's house, and she was really cool because she liked horror movies and she played video games. And so I told her like everything I saw. You know, there was this white mask and it had holes in it, and like they kept calling the guy Jason. And then she was like, oh, that's Jason Voorhees, and you know, told me about his whole like backstory. And then my dad took me to the public library and let me rent the first Friday 13th, and then watched it with me. And I still have that memory. And I remember one I mean, I loved it, but I also was like, where the hell's Jason?
Yep.
And from there, I got so hooked on horror movies. Like it hit me at such a like pivotal time where they were scary to me, but I also loved like the lore of them and the backstories. And going to Blockbuster with my family, I'd look at all the, you know, the cover arts for everything, and Freddy would scare the shit out of me, and the Halloween movies looked so cool, and there was just like this like mysterious, creepy shit about it. And at the same time, I was just like, I thought they were the coolest thing. And then as a way to not be kind of scared of them, my grandmother suggested that I watch the behind the scenes first, see how they made the movie, and then that way when I watched it, I wouldn't be as scared. And doing those two things really kind of just made me be like, oh, I want to do that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that looks like the coolest shit ever. So let me just go ahead and do that. Shout out to and then there was like I even remember there was a few special features on some DVDs that really inspired me to want to be a filmmaker. The 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre had like a hour-long documentary on its DVD about the making of, and I thought that was just looked like so much fun. And then there was another one on the Hatchet DVD. That one. And then there was one on Jason X called The Many Faces of Jason Voorhees, and it was kind of like a rundown of the whole series. It was like 30 minutes long, but I would rewatch those constantly too. And it would, so I know those aren't films, but all of it just kind of came together. But it was Friday 13th Part 6 that really it changed my life. It changed my life as an 8-year-old kid.
I first came across your work. One of my favorite things to do, and one of the things we do a lot on this podcast, is we troll Tubi, Voodoo's free movies, what's it called, Amazon Prime Video. And I first came across Scary Doesn't Really Matter, the making of a Halloween spookathon. I saw that first, and damn, man, the trauma that probably caused making films. I need to see this film. And then I searched out Baron von Laffo's Spookathon, Halloween Spookathon. I really like this. There's something about it. It's because we watch a lot of movies that are made on low to no budget, and there's that thing missing, you know, where it's just like, it's not bad, but there's just something missing. And in that, Baron von Laffo is hilarious and kind of scary. The Carvers was great. If you could go back and redo it, what would you change about that experience, between actors signing consent and then being like years later, nah, I don't want to, and the grease paint?
Dude, I mean, we made that movie, I think we started shooting in 2015. And again, I hadn't even turned 21 yet. I think I turned 21 like a month after we shot Laffo's stuff, because we did all that stuff in a garage at my aunt's house. And we just took the day and did that, and we felt like champions at the end of that day. Like, we were like, holy shit, we knocked that all out. Like, filmmaking's easy. And it was so much fun. And you know, I wasn't gonna play Laffo, but at the last minute it just kind of was like, let's just do it. Like, I know how to do it. I know what I'm looking for. You know, I had found that costume, and then I actually did the makeup like the day before. Like, it's funny that you brought all this up, because just last night I'm actually looking to get Scary Doesn't Really Matter onto Film Hub, see if it can get onto anything, because it used to be on Prime, but it got taken off for some reason. So I'm trying to get it somewhere, because I think it's a pretty fun little documentary for indie filmmakers.
It is. It helped out a lot seeing everything you went through, and seeing, like, from my own experience of having to go through this, being like, I see where he did that, and then on the next production I noticed that pop up, and I'm like, all right, no, we're gonna go around, like, this isn't working, get rid of it, we're gonna go do something else. And you're being so mad at yourself for being tired. You're working overnights, you're exhausted. Sometimes you just don't want to work. And I know this was years ago. So when that came up with me, where I didn't have a babysitter for my son, my wife was working nights, but that night she wasn't supposed to work. And I was just like, you know what, let's just scrap it. And I remembered that. And I went, you know what? No, I'll just direct over FaceTime. And I just had one of my guys, I was like, I don't want to feel the way Dylan felt doing this. I'd rather just get it done and experience. So like that did help.
Well, that did. I sincerely, that means a lot. My buddy Jeff, who was also a co-director on the Spookathon, he edited the whole Scary Doesn't Really Matter. I gave my notes, and like I kind of just gave him all the footage, the interviews. I shot the interviews, but he made it. And when we first watched it, it was such a like cathartic experience at that time, because like we had gone through so much shit, and that was early on in our friendship too. And so we're really grateful to have that. And then when we got it on Prime, actually a few people reached out to us from like Michigan and stuff like that, saying like, you know, this really meant a lot to us. And it never ceases to amaze. Like, that's what I love about art, and that's why I would do this no matter what. Like, people might be like, yeah, but you're not really making it, you're still having to work, and you're not going to Comic-Cons and signing autographs. It's like, yeah, but I mean, obviously, yes, I think that's what we all dream of. But getting, like, the fact that there's someone out there who has a copy of my movie on Blu-ray or something like that, or a copy of my book, and maybe it got them through a tough night, maybe it got them through a hard week, maybe a fun story sat with them and it inspired them for something, like, that to me is what it's all about. Because that's what, so all these movies and stuff I have behind me, like, I'm big into physical media, and just, it's all so inspiring and it's helped me get through so much of my life. So to hear that it helps you in some way, like, is awesome. And that's why, like, to answer your question, what would I change? I mean, if we go down that road, I think that'd be an endless conversation. But because, you know, I was 21 years old, now I'm almost 30. So I want to say, like, there's so much I would change, but honestly, it is what it is. And there's friendships that aren't around anymore from that experience. And so much has happened. And you know what? That's okay. Like, it captured a moment in time. It captured like a lot of lessons, both in filmmaking and in life. And I'm totally like content with what it is. I learned a lot of like, obviously the grease paint, sure. Like, I wish I had figured out because like having to put that shit on sucks, but you know what? It works. And I don't know, like I really think we captured something special with LAFO and the Carvers. Like that was the highlight from the Spookathon. And I've still always wanted to do like another Carvers project. I just haven't found the right, I've wanted to do it like either animation or stop motion or something like that, and I just haven't found the right collaborator. But yeah, so I wouldn't change, I don't think I'd change anything. I learned a lot from that experience, and it is what it is, and the right people will enjoy it. And you know, and if you don't enjoy it, that's okay. That's what's awesome about film. Like, not
it's
everything
subjective.
You know, with
that, in Scary Doesn't Matter, you said you hated the character of Baron von LAFO. Then in the last LAFO, you said your current feelings on it were that you loved him. What, you're still playing him, correct?
Yep.
What are your feelings now? Is it still love-hate?
Yeah, probably. Like, it really sucks. And I talked to like some friends about this now, because like LAFO, people are like, well, why don't you just recast LAFO, or why don't you just, you know? And it's just like, I feel like he's me at this point. Like,
yeah.
You know, but then you have the people who are like, yeah, but he's just kind of like a Captain Spaulding ripoff, and I'm like, isn't everything a ripoff at this point? I feel like. But that aside, it's like, no, I like to think that I bring something a little bit different to him, and like all the backstory that I've come up with that I'm working on in the books and stuff. Like, he really is kind of a more tragic character that we haven't gotten to see. That's because I don't have the means yet to put that to film, but I like to view him as more of a tragic character. He's not like just a sadistic killer clown type thing. And so, yeah, it's a love-hate thing. Like, I hate that I have to do it because it's just another thing I have to do. But at the same time, he's me. Like, he's all my anger and frustration with the world. And like, you know, I just put it all into that. And I have a lot of fun with it. One of the biggest things, like, out of everything I've done, like, LAFO has been a consistent thing that people say they like. I just like, you know what, like, obviously there's something there. I'm just gonna roll with it. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I have a lot of fun playing with him, and for this movie, Fun Size Piece of Sharp Candy, I get to just have fun with him. Like, it's not like I'm trying to give an award-winning performance or anything, or it's just like I just get to have fun with this character. Yeah, that's what this whole movie's about. It's just having fun. So it's no secret to anybody that like knows me personally. I talk about it all the time, how I'd love to do even if I just got one opportunity to do a feature that isn't an anthology, and Laugh was the main villain / whatever. I've actually written a feature-length script. We almost went into production on it a couple years ago after Sharp Candy, the show, but that quickly just quickly fell apart. We really were full of ourselves, thinking like, no, we'll be able to do this. Like, and it just, yeah, it definitely wouldn't have worked out, and or if we had done it, it wouldn't have been what I wanted it. Like, it requires a certain, in order to do it, I don't want to be the one doing everything. Like, I really don't. I'm fine with like directing, but like, I don't want to have to do any camera stuff. If I'm going to be playing Laugh-O, I just want to write, direct, and play Laugh-O. So obviously that comes with,
money.
Either money or a lot of favors. And I just don't think it's anytime in the near future. But that said, my buddy, again, Jeff Everhart, who co-directed the Spookathon with me, him and I have been spitballing another idea for a feature where Laugh-O, and it's just kind of more your straightforward like slasher, but it's got a fun twist to it, where Laugh-O's the main villain in that. So that's something that's more doable. The reason this whole thing came about was because I wanted to do a show that would be kind of these fun like Laugh-O host thing, when I could just do all anthologies. I mean, you came on as a producer from the Indiegogo way back when I was trying to do the Sharp Candy season 2 that turned into Fun Size. And then it wasn't until this past year I was like, I think this will work better as a movie, like just a one and done movie, move on. And I'm trying to reintroduce Archico, my brand, Laugh-O, everything with this movie to show how far we've come, because I don't know if you're a fan of Sharp Candy or any of the other stuff that I've done, but I have a problem with all of, like, obviously looking back. And so this is like my first real attempt to try and like, I just want to deliver something that's so much fun and pretty high quality for, like an indie film. And that's kind of where like this whole thing began, was like, I think I want to do this Fun Size project. I also want to do a feature that like is of quality and just a lot of fun. And that's kind of just, and then it's funny if you think about it, because this is Laugh-O hosting, and there's like 3 shorts, so it's kind of like Baron von Laugh-O's Halloween Spookathon 2.
To jump off of horror for a second, when are we getting a second season of Living Better through means of better living?
Oh, goodness.
Because that was the second thing I saw from you guys, and it was so funny. And I've told you through DMs how funny that series is. It's like it makes my kid laugh. It makes my wife laugh. The Duncan Hines, big bit where you just swipe and Gunner just runs away, and you're like, no, wait. It's so funny. Where did you guys come up with the ideas for like the episodes and the bits for that?
Well, again, thanks for bringing that. That's something that
I was just watching it again today.
I didn't think anybody watched that stuff. Like, I know a few friends watch them, they think they're funny, but that came out of nowhere with just, I don't even know what the inspiration was for it anymore, but me and Gunnar were roommates at the time, and now he's married and living in, some like Wisconsin or something, so we haven't seen each other in years. We keep in touch, but I think I just hit a spot where like I was tired of making, because it was still like fresh off a Spookathon, and I'd made a few short films and stuff like that, and it just was a very taxing thing to do, like, because you're trying to like impress people with these short films, and so I kind of just was like, Gunnar, I want to do a project where we just wing it, like we just say fuck it, we don't care about camera shit, we just go for it, and we can shoot it all in one day, and what's something we can do. And I honestly we just did it one day, like we were like, hey, let's try and shoot this episode, and I don't even think I had the title yet. I think we literally just went outside, we put on those outfits, and we made up the tips on the spot. And then that's how each episode was. We literally were like, hey, you want to shoot an episode today? Or I would ask him, because he kind of started not wanting to do them because his free time was getting taken up by doing them. But I was like, let's just shoot it today. Let's spend the day doing it. Can you come up with like 3 or 4 tips? I'll come up with some tips, and then we'll just pick the best ones and go from there. And we would just shoot it. We would just do it. And I don't know if you can tell, or well, you probably can, but like there's certain parts where the camera just like isn't focused on us.
Oh
like
yeah.
it's out of
Oh,
focus.
it's so funny. It's so
and
funny.
we didn't care, and that wasn't on purpose. We just said, I'm literally just throwing up the camera real quick, hitting record, and we're going. Just
all the split screen stuff where it's like it's just not lined up right, and you're walking through one split screen and showing up. So funny. It's so funny.
Well, I'm glad you think so, man. That was literally just, what can we do to have fun and not care, and then make it work in editing, and then that's what we did.
The Things We Bloom.
Did you check that out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you sent me an early copy. I really liked it. It was weird because horror comedy, drama. Was not expecting that. What was the thought process on essentially just completely switching up the genre?
I've always, because I'm from Florida, and I've always wanted to make a movie that kind of captures the vibe of Florida that I see. Because a lot of movies that are shot in Florida, they're very like oversaturated. Miami, and I don't know. I was just like, I kind of want to see if I can capture something a little different. So that was the genesis of the idea. Like, all right, I have that. Now what's the story? And then I had this script for a long time called Blood Run Bloom. It was very grindhousey and very violent, and not what you saw, but very, very different. But it was the basic premise. Guy's girlfriend gets killed in a car accident. He goes to like kind of after revenge type of thing, and then crosses like ties with like a mob type situation. And I had that idea, and I was like, what if I just strip all the, maybe some people would say interesting stuff, but I was like, no, what if I just strip it all away to the bare bones and make it like a simple drama where things are quiet, but it's more realistic, like, because life isn't a saturated crime thriller. It's very quiet and emotional, and I don't know. And so I just kind of was like, oh, I like this idea. And then next thing you know, we were shooting it. I wrote the script, and I was like, yeah, let's just do it. It sounds fun. Way different than anything else we've done. And I will say, out of all my projects, Things We Bloom is the one project that is really near and dear to my heart, because one, it got me through like a bad like breakup and stuff during that time, and just a lot of, it was like a life change at that time. And but also I'm really proud of it as a filmmaker. It 100% accomplished what I wanted, what I envisioned, the vibe of it. Sure, maybe the camera quality could a little bit better, maybe the audio quality here, maybe that performance here, whatever. Like I said, we can talk about that all day long, but I'm 100% happy with how we did it, how it turned out. Wouldn't change a thing. Like, I love it. It's my favorite thing that I've done so far. Well, what'd you think of The Things We Bloom? Because I don't know if you and I have ever talked about it.
I liked it.
Be honest, you won't hurt my feelings.
Yeah, no. I liked it. I liked a lot of the performances. Sometimes the story was a little hard to follow, but all in all, I think it's good. I don't think it's your best. I
Fair
think
enough.
The Demon of Serling is great, and Sharp Candy in particular. I've watched that a lot.
Well, we'll talk about that because I'm real curious about that. But no, fair enough. Yeah, Things We Bloom. Yeah. I've had other people share kind of similar sentiments, but I don't know. I'm just really proud of like the vibe that movie has, and
the aesthetic and the feel is great.
Yeah, I think
it's
that's what I'm more proud of than, I don't know. Did you like David's scene?
The what?
David McMahon's scene in his underwear.
I love him. He is great.
Yes, he is.
I forget, we covered, I don't remember what season we watched. Oh God, was it the Shadow? No, it wasn't the Shadow People. No, it was the Shadow People. I don't remember. It was a movie filmed in Florida, and he played. Yeah, it was the Real Cases of the Shadow People. I had just watched The Demon of Serling, and he was the principal in Sharp Candy.
Yep.
And everything, and then Things You Bloom. And I remember seeing him come up, and I looked and I was like, I know that guy. Why do I know that guy? And I had to look, and I was like, oh fuck, it's him from these. wow, he really is the only good actor in this entire Shadow People movie. And he had like a 5-minute clip, and he was the best actor in the entire thing. And you can see that in all of the performances that he has. He's a great actor.
The guy is highly underrated, and David's one of my favorite people. And him and I used to both live in St. Augustine, Florida. And I remember I'd just seen one of his movies called The Song of Solomon, pretty gory, like exorcist flick. And you should check that out just for David alone. But I had just watched it, and then I swear to God, like a week later, he messaged me on Facebook and says, "Hey man, been following your work, would love to, catch coffee sometime." And I was just like, wait a minute, is this the guy who I just saw in this? What? It was the craziest, like, what? Yeah, absolutely. And I think he had just shot a segment for 1031 Part 2. And me and him met up for coffee. I was filming Sharp Candy, I think, or getting ready to film Sharp Candy. And I was like, dude, I'm doing this if you want to. And there's a bigger role for his twin brother, the character, in season 2, which I was planning at the time. And so me and David like bonded instantly. And then for Things We Bloom, he pretty much came up with the whole like wearing the Speedo and all that stuff. And then once he was like, I want to wear this and I want to wear this wig, I said, okay, well then you're also going to fucking dance in that Speedo. And then I found this piece of music that maybe doesn't fit, but I fell in love with it. And I was like, oh, well, this is the highlight of the movie for me, this whole scene. And then Demon of Sterling, I actually wrote for David. I had already had my character stuff written for the longest time as part of a short. But for David, I really wanted to like give him his own movie where he was kind of the star or the lead or whatever. And I just had this, I just came out of nowhere. I wrote the script for the Demon of Sterling in 2 days because I had already my half of it. Yeah. So then once I wrote his stuff, it was like, oh, this is great. And I'm really proud of the Demon of Sterling. Don't get me wrong. There's just a few things I wish, like, I don't know. I don't feel like I necessarily nailed, but I'm really am proud of it. Like that was another, because it's not, I kind of advertised it as a horror movie, and it originally was going to be more like, it was going to be gory and it was going to have a lot more horror elements to it. But like 3 or 4 days before we started filming, the actor who was going to play my role had to back out. So then we already were scheduled to shoot for like a week, like literally 7 days of filming straight. And I was just like, I guess I'll play the role. And
I know the words. Let's go.
I know the words. And I know how I want to play this character, because I play it totally different than how this other actor was going to play it. And you know what? I kind of wish the other guy had been able, because then I would have been able to pay more attention and we would have been able to do the gore effects that I wanted. It was just a matter of time. But I don't know. I think me and David have a really great chemistry, so I think that relationship works really well. So maybe it wouldn't have worked. I don't know. But
now you said you had questions for me about Sharp Candy.
We're talking about the show, right? Or just or are you talking about like
the fun size pieces, the one that has the 1 episode up?
Yeah, I guess I don't know.
Or the film, the anthology film.
Because you said you liked Demon of Sterling, and then you said Sharp Candy. When you said Sharp Candy, what were you thinking of?
Sharp Candy.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, the first one. Like I like the stories. I like how it's contained. Because I have the Halloween Spookathon. I have the Demon of Sterling, and then I have
sick. Okay.
That. And I've seen the first episode and everything that's up on YouTube, and I don't hate it. I like the Baron von Laffo stuff. The story inside.
It's okay. You can make the noise.
No, because I was watching it again today. I feel like, because you have a whole bunch of fun size pieces books.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's actually one of the stories in the books.
Yeah, and because I have a couple of them. I don't remember. I think I have the books for regular Sharp Candy.
Okay.
I guess they're the novelizations of everything and give more backstory. And I think I have a couple of the fun size, because I have them all on Kindle. Obviously, for the film, you'll have more time to like flesh stuff out, but you're also not going to be able to pick all of them. I feel like the problem with the web series, TV series, is time. I feel like because I think it was 18 minutes.
Yeah.
I think if it was down to about 10 to 12 minutes, it would have worked a lot better. But it's the acting was fine. The concept of the stalker boyfriend getting revenge on the girl for dumping his ass, and like him just, he was naked, right? When he's just like sitting like that, like he was naked, like just in there like excuse me.
Yeah.
I feel like all of it worked. I think it was just a trim the fat moment would have helped more. Like it overstayed its welcome, but all the beats that were in it were good.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's one of the critiques I get often with all of my projects is like knowing when to cut or like trim it down some, and that's, I'll admit it's, I don't like to do it. Like I don't know. I'm more of like, like why are we in a rush? Like let's sit here and let's linger in it for a minute. And you know, sometimes like I'll take advice from, you know, because I ask some people to like watch rough stuff and I'll see what, you know, what isn't working, what is working. And it's when it comes to that fun size episode, and kind of what led to me wanting to just kind of redo it anyways, was because we really rushed that like right before Demon of Sterling. I think we shot that like a few weeks before Demon of Sterling, and I just wanted to get that episode out. I mean, I think it's fun, don't get me wrong, a fun little short, but it just, I was like, I'm gonna do a show now, and that's gonna be the first episode, unless I just like kind of reboot the show and have it. And then that, I was just like, how about I just do a movie? Let me start from scratch. I'll have a fun wraparound segment with Lafo, but I'll also get to have some like just silly fun with him, because that's kind of what I've been wanting to do, is just have some silly fun with him, and then do these shorts, and we'll go from there. And yeah, but I agree with what you're saying. Like I honestly do feel that it can work as a movie. These can still definitely work as a web series. That's what I thought. I just thought like when it came to marketing it, I was like, let me just do a movie so it's this one, because there's already so much confusion with like, I did this show, the first show, and I was just like, maybe I can differentiate it by like, that's the show, this is the movie. Like if I wind up getting it released on Blu-ray, whatever, the episode will probably be on like the special features of it, and be like, this is where this whole idea came from. So that also helped, was just to like separate it, because I don't know, and it's just kind of easier to get something distributed as a movie versus a series. The reason I was asking, and I wanted to talk to you about that, was because I like the 2 Lafo episodes. I think they're okay. I hate the other 2 episodes. Like the pawnbroker episode sucks. Like I hear so much shit about that episode.
This is the reason why we don't really have a backstory. There's more backstory in the book.
Yeah.
So Pawnbroker should have been its own movie, where things are explained more.
Well, and it's not even just the story. I also just wasn't happy with the way it looked. I wasn't happy with, like, we had to ADR most of it. The performances I didn't think were anything spectacular. I tried to save myself some work by having someone else do the cinematography for the Pawnbroker. So I relied on my one of my producers, Nico, to like find somebody, and it kind of was just like a miscommunication. It was all last minute. And I just think the Pawnbrokers doesn't look very cinematic. I don't think, we shot it on a totally different camera. I don't even know what it was. Like, I didn't shoot it. So I think it doesn't look great. I don't think it matches the rest of the show. And then, yeah, the story, everything was just, you know, that was and it's all my fault. Like I dropped the ball on that one. And then the last episode, I think it like kind of starts strong. American Tricker is the one with David.
Yeah.
But then I think it kind of just, and I think a lot of that is performance based. And then also I broke my ankle before filming that episode. So I filmed that whole thing from like a wheelchair or like one of those knee scooters. If you go back and watch that episode, Principal Habble's office is a spare bedroom in my house that I had to like create using like furniture and everything. Like I got a desk and everything. I had all the stuff sitting out in my living room. So I had to, from a wheelchair, piece by piece, like disconnect the desk, bring that in, disconnect the bookcase, bring that in. Like I had the bookcase on my shoulder like this as I'm wheelchairing it in. And so that whole set, I think it looks okay for what it is. But like at a certain point, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, let's just get this episode done. and I, you know, the kid actors gave very, like, I mean, they were new actors, and one of the kids was real young, so I kind of give him a pass, but it's just very interesting performances.
Yeah.
And Gunner's mom actually played the Principal Havel's wife. So I don't know if she had ever acted before or whatnot, but it just, I wasn't happy with the way that episode looked, the performances, and then the Carver stuff, I think just got muddled. And I was just like, oh, fuck it. I should have just done a LAFO Sharp Candy feature all about that.
Yeah.
But hindsight's 2020, you know?
So I do want to talk a little bit more about the upcoming fun size pieces of Sharp Candy that will not be now. The YouTube episode story, is that going to be one of the stories told in the film?
Nope.
That's just, you'll throw that on
the Blu-ray,
the Blu-ray and everything. Okay. So
yeah, none of that is, not even the LAFO like at a Bayou type deal, like none of that. That's
because you know, I'm trying to talk you back into doing shorts. One of them that I feel would never work as a short because of the concept, the underwater segment that you want to do. Now, you've said you've done test footage of it so far. How is that looking?
I mean, I think it looks pretty good. I shouldn't have put the test shots in the Indiegogo because I don't think they look that great, but I just kind of wanted to show that, like,
we're doing it.
Yeah. And like I showed my buddy Michael from Witching Season Films, and he actually thought it looked pretty damn good. So, I mean, granted, it wasn't at all perfected. Like, you know, I'm down there just like with the helmet on, and I've got like lights, and my brother's helping me out, and we're just I'm just trying to like, is this possible? And we were able to shoot like a little sequence of it, and I was like, you know what, I'm happy with this, and I think it looks pretty damn cool. And like, we're gonna shoot some of it in a lake, and I think it'll not look, you know, oh, look how small and like it's just shot in a little pool. Like, I think it'll actually look pretty damn cool. So yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, dude, like I've smidge thought about like the short form content. I hate it. Like, I hate it. I hate having to, I mean, I guess I could look at it and try and like schedule it to where like I film all of LAFO's bits on like a certain day and then just like pump out a few shorts. It's just, I don't know. It just brings me like I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
With the new movie, how are you choosing which shorts, like fun size stories, you want to tell?
Oh, well, so there's four if you count the LAFO wraparound. But that's kind of removed. The 3 shorts, 2 of them I wrote specifically for this, and then the only one taken from my books or anything is the underwater one. But I also kind of did like a rewrite on that as well. So and then each like episode is themed around a holiday, and like, so Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter, and like the whole premise is that like Halloween's over, and like in order to like, because LAFO's kind of bummed that Halloween's over, he's going to tell these 3 stories that each take place on these different holidays. And so then I kind of wrote based on that. And that gives me a lot of like, because the whole thing is like, I just want to have fun. Like, that's the whole like kit and caboodle of it. Like, it's not meant to be like this heavy thing. It's not meant to, it's just, I want something fun that people could, you know, like if it's Halloween season is over and they're like, oh, you know what, I want to put on Fun Size. And then, you know, because it's got like a different holiday horror element to it. Like, that's what I'm looking to do. I'm not looking to try and do anything beyond that. Like, it's, you know what I mean? And so I really don't think that the short YouTube content is a bad idea. It's just hard getting myself excited about it. Like, cause it just, I don't know. Like and it probably, you know, what's funny is it'd probably be the best way to grow my channel and to grow my audience, but it's just like, maybe I'm just a dinosaur stuck in like way of thinking like, nah, I want to make a movie. But it's just because dude, I hate social media. Like, if I didn't if I wasn't into films or if whatever, into writing, any of it, if I did not need social media to kind of market any of it, you guys would never see me. And maybe that'd be a blessing, but like, literally I'd throw this motherfucker out the window of a, you know, cabin on a high mountain, and I would just live my life because I hate it. I hate everything about it. It's cool in the aspect that like you and I and me and other people and, you know, have connected, and that's awesome, and it's cool to share some stuff. But other than that, and just like having to, you know, if you think about it, like, I obviously want the shorts to be good. Each time I'd want each episode to be good, and so trying and I'd have to write based off of what I could realistically do. And so a lot of those, like, there's only so many things I could do within a 3 to 5. Like, I have this annual, I don't know if you've seen it, but like for the past couple of years, every October I release like a little micro short, like it's like a minute or two long, in and out. It's just something fun for me to do in October.
Did you just post something?
Yep, I just did one for October 1st. Dude, those are harder for me to come up with and write than, you know, my movie. Like, trying to come, okay, okay, LAFO stuff is like 2 minutes of jokes and then what, 3 minutes of whatever else is going on. It's like I have to tell a story in that time, and it's like, one, that's super hard to do, more hard than I think people realize. Two, it really just doesn't do anything for me. And then three, it really would test like originality. Yeah, dude, well, I'll be honest, like I've struggled over the past like probably about a year and a half with even on wanting to continue making anything. Like with Demon of Sterling, that took so much out of me, because we did that and then Things We Bloom, you know, right before then we jumped right into Demon of Sterling, and then I've worked on a few other things. And with Demon of Sterling, I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of it. And one of the things that was a real bummer though was like I submitted it I didn't want to, because Things Would Bloom went to a few festivals, but like I paid so much money to send that thing to festivals. Nothing. Not that that's the end all be all, but you know, still a little bit of
it'd be nice to get that wreath.
It's a little bit of a sting, right? So then I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then Demon of Sterling came along, and I was like, well, I'm not going to spend all the money to send this to festivals. Like, I sent it to a few free ones, and I was like, oh, whatever. But then the cast started asking me, you know, like, hey, what some festivals have you submitted? And I'm just like, none. They're like, oh. And I started to feel bad. I was like, you know what? Let me submit it for them. Like, they deserve to, because originally, like, I was trying to find distribution for Demon of Sterling. Like, it looked like maybe Scream Team Releasing was going to pick it up, but then last minute it just didn't work out. And I don't blame them. It wasn't exactly a horror film, so it doesn't really exactly fit their, you know, the kind of films they put out. But after that, I was like, I didn't have another distributor. So then that's when I did a Blu-ray release, and I got it on Tubi. I submitted it to all these festivals, spent like a couple $100, and then not a single thing. And I did so much research on the festivals that I submitted to, and I made sure it was like a spectrum of like high end to low end to, you know, what I felt pretty confident that we'd at least get into. And dude, it didn't get into a single festival.
That's disheartening.
Not one. And I'm not trying to like sound like I'm not trying to be a whiny, you know, anything like that. It's not that. It's just like, and I don't want to critique, you know, I love that everybody can like be a filmmaker and like create their art. It's so dope. But there's a little bit of a sting when it's like, you know, you poured so much heart and energy and passion into a thing, and then you see like, okay, well, what did that film festival accept into their festival this year? And then you watch something and you're like, okay, I don't want to be a hater, but like, you guys shot, like, it's, you know what I mean? Like, there's
nothing's in focus, color grade is completely off, audio is terrible. You're like, what is going on?
The audio clips out. You can see a you know, like a boom, or you can see like a PA kind of standing off to the side. Like, it's in. I was like, man, not that those things. I'm that's not the thing that makes or breaks a project, but damn it, it just really bummed me out, more so for like everybody's performances in Demon, because I thought David crushed it. Like, so many awesome things in that movie. I thought my buddy Shane, who was the cinematographer, did a great job. The music by Gory Rory, that was all original. Like, all the songs in the movie, either me or Molly Oblivion, who he worked with, wrote the lyrics and then sang the song. So like the movie has its complete original soundtrack, and I think it's really awesome. And it helps elevate our movie to, you know, what it is. And so all of that wrapped into like how long it took and everything else, and trying to figure out like my life at almost 30, not getting into a single festival. It was like, okay, maybe I need to take a break from filmmaking for a while. And I almost canceled Fun Size altogether.
We have Try Some Fun Size Pieces coming up next. Has anything been filmed so far besides test footage?
We shot one segment already, the Thanksgiving one. And I'm getting ready to shoot a lot of the LAFO wraparound. And then probably in March or April, we'll shoot another segment. And then over the summer, we'll shoot probably another segment. And like I was saying before, it almost all got canceled until I kind of retooled it as the movie, and then that's what got me excited about it. And I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna have fun with it. Like, that's the key to it. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna have fun. And then this whole Indiegogo that I started doing, I mean, I always pay for my projects regardless. I mean, the Indiegogo's help, but like this one's not doing too great right out the gates. I mean, we still got a lot of time left. You know, I really tried to like come up with some dope perks that I thought would be interesting and make it as affordable as I can, but it's just not hitting off. And like I've tried boosting it, ads, and reaching out to people who have fought, and just nothing. So going back to my like thing about like, you know, like Demon not getting into festivals, it can be a real bitch. It can be a real disheartening thing trying to be an artist. But at the end of the day, I want to see this movie made. Like I want to have something that's a holiday horror anthology that is fun to put on after Halloween. And who knows, like someone just like you could wind up getting their hands on the Blu-ray and it could be a new favorite of theirs. So like that's all I care about. Like that's what I want to do. That's what I want to have fun with. It's the only thing that keeps me wanting to keep making movies, because the LAFO segment I think is just so much fun to get to do. Like I think you'll really enjoy that.
You were the director of one of the segments for 1031 Part 4. How did that come about?
My buddy Michael Baloff, he did House of the Mummy for Part 3. So he had reached out to Rocky Gray, the creator of the 1031 series, and I guess he had already threw my name in the ring. And then I also reached out to Rocky independently, not knowing, and was just like, hey man, if you ever need someone to direct a segment, I already got one like in the bag ready to go, so I'd love to do one. And then he started doing Part 4. He asked me to do it. I did it. I had like my short done like a year in advance, because he was still finding like directors for the other segments and stuff. So we thought when we filmed our segment, we thought it was going to be coming out last Halloween, and unfortunately we had to wait until now to finally see it. But it's a lot of fun. I got to see the final, like everybody's shorts and everything, and it's a fun franchise to be a part of. You know, some shorts have their highs and lows. I don't know if you've seen them.
I think I've seen 1031 Part 1. And then Michael Baloff, he never left?
Yep, he's the his company, Witching Season Films, is behind him.
Because Witching Season was an anthology film too, right?
It was a show, yeah. They did a series. That's how they got started, and that's released through Screen Team as well. And they're actually working on season 2 right now, and I'm a assistant director on that. And so that's that's what they're currently working on, because they just finished He Never Left, and that's coming out I think this November, from Dread. So that was I was a part of that too. That was a lot of fun. David's in that, so you got to check it out for David. And yeah, so that's kind of how that came about. Just my name was already thrown out there, but then I also just said, hey, I want to do this. Let me be a part of this thing. He brought me on. It was like, I think it was like December or January 2 years ago or something. And he had like, Rocky gave me like a budget, sent it to me, and then told me to go ahead. And we were operating under the idea that 1031 was going to come out last October. And then that didn't happen because of, everybody else needing to finish their shorts. But I finished my short, filming it in like February of 2023 or 2023. So I did it, got it done. And it's funny because I'm in that, and again, that was supposed to be another thing where I wasn't supposed to be the main lead, and then I just couldn't find an actor that I thought fit the role, and we were getting closer and closer to when we were going to film, and I was just like, here we go again, just fuck it. And then that's what sucks sometimes, is because I worry that all my projects look like an ego trip, and that's not it at all. Like, me acting in something means I have to like worry about one less person not showing up. Yeah, and it just kind of, it is what it is. Like, if not everybody's gonna like you, not everybody's gonna like the things you create, and that's okay. I just try and focus on the people that do. That's what's crazy to me, I think, is one of the reasons I hate social media. Is I know that I have an audience out there. I know that you have an audience out there. I know that there's an audience out there for almost everybody and their art. It's like just trying to find and like weave through all the shit to connect to those people. Because I mean, sure, the big dream of like having your movies go to theaters across the country, Sure, I think we all share that dream. But ultimately, I just want to, like, it'd be cool. I don't even care if I'd have to still work my regular day job. If I earned a little bit of money to warrant keep doing this, you know, because like sometimes my wife gets a little like, you're gonna do another project. And I'm like, I don't know how to stop.
You ready for some hot takes?
Yeah.
What is your all-time favorite horror movie?
Oh shit. I think I'm gonna have. I mean, I think Friday 13th Part 6, just because it's what started the whole thing. And there's just too many, like, there's the higher end of horror films, you know, like A24 high elevated horror. Then there's like the schlock shit. And there's too many like favorites in each genre that I have that I don't like. I guess I have to dwindle it down to like what's one that's like the most important to me. And obviously Friday 13th Part 6 changed my life. I'm also a huge fan of the original My Bloody Valentine. Like, dude, that movie, I can't believe, I mean, yeah, we have that kind of shitty remake 3D one, but I can't believe that hasn't been tried to been rebooted, because that could be such a solid slash, like, so damn good. The visual, like, of all the hearts and the decorations and the minor, like, they're missing out. And I don't know who would be the right person to do a reboot of that. Not Blumhouse, please, but I mean, I like some of their stuff, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm gonna just say Friday 13th Part 6 just because it changed my life.
What horror movie do you hate?
I probably own it. Back there. What horror movie do I hate?
Because for me, it's the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Oh, I used to share that sentiment when I was a wee lad, because I thought it was like a dark comedy. Because I remember my grandmother telling me it was the scariest movie she ever saw, and then
nothing scary that happens.
I finally watched it, and then I was like, "This is what's happening." Because like Franklin in the wheelchair, Sally.
Well, how in 70s have you ever been to rural Texas?
Nope.
Yeah, the 70s rural Texas, Franklin would have been the first one killed. How did he survive until he's the second to last kill? He's the easiest one to kill. He can't get around anywhere.
I like the movie because I like the vibe of it and the atmosphere and the, you know, it's
the
kind
remake. I love.
Yeah, the remake's, it's hot. It's a dope flick. Just because I saw it on my shelf, even though I like his style and his movies were kind of an influence to me when I was younger. I hate 31 by Rob Zombie. That's one I fucking like, just off the top of my head. Hey, I tried rewatching it. I like Richard Brake, but I think that movie's like so bad. And then it's such a bummer that like that movie came along before he got a chance to do 3 from Hell. Yeah. By that time, Sid Haig was too old and not doing too great. So I kind of blame 31 for us missing out on that. But I try not to, I really do. I try and find the positive in every movie that I watch, even if I hate it, like, or don't vibe with it, just because I know how much effort it takes to make something and how like hard people put their time. Well, okay, for the most part.
I'll test you on that, and you can message me later. Go watch the Gracefield incident.
No, thank you.
No, just go watch the Gracefield incident.
You're right. You're right. I don't
check out my new Canon 6D. Oh, it's got night vision. No, it doesn't. Oh, look, we turned on night vision. Look up at the sky and it's the sun shining. No. What are you doing? These are people that had a weekend to shoot something. Like, we got it.
There is a difference, and you're correct. I just don't like to shit on anybody, because I used to do that when I was like, dude, when I was younger, I used to like trash, and I'll get to your opinion in a second, but I used to trash Freddy versus Jason. Like, used to trash it. Now, me and my buddy we used to do our podcast together. Like, now that I've gotten older and just, I don't know, like chilled out, I'm like, what are you talking about? That movie's fun. Like, if you're trying to dissect it any more than that, like, what are you doing? Because I read the book Slash of the Titans with all the different drafts and ideas they had for that fucking movie. And dude, it is a gift what we got. So like, it's the only one we're probably ever going to get, especially with Robert Englund. So it's like, I think that movie is so much fun, especially to watch around Halloween time. Like, I have very fond, nostalgic memories of that movie looking back. And so that's what I mean. Is like, I feel it's interesting when people just, the vitriol of like hate that people can like dish out on a movie.
It's because they're too rigid.
Yeah. I also think it's just like this weird thing where it's like, did you really hate that? Or are you just for some reason kind of embarrassed to say you like it in case someone else comes along and says like, oh, well, that movie sucked, or that movie's this or that. You don't want to like, you want to be trendy and not actually like stick by your opinion. Because I noticed that a lot on like Reddit and some of the stuff that people choose, like they'll nitpick, but then they'll praise in other films. So I don't know.
No, I'm very firm on my. I hate the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I hate the Babadook. And,
oh yeah, dude, fuck the Babadook. I'm sorry, like that.
I hate Skinamarink.
Dude, yeah, okay, yep. Let's talk about it. now you got me going. So the Babadook, you know what? This whole interview just cut all the shit about my crap. Go to us talking about horror movies, because now the audience is awake. Who's watching this? Like the Babadook, I heard all this fucking rave about this movie. People were, and then I watch it, and oh my god, the fucking kid in that, I remember just being so obnoxious. And then it's like, oh, it's all a metaphor. This is just what happened?
We complained about that kid so much, and we use him as the barometer for child actors in all fucking films going forward. It's like, at least he's not the kid from the Babadook.
Oh, that was a rough one and a big disappointment. And then, how do you say it?
Skinamarink.
Whatever.
Like Skinamarink-a-doo.
Piece of shit. Whatever.
Yeah, oh, God.
I was really actually kind of pumped for that because I saw the trailer and it was like right up my alley. I loved like the vibe of it. And then I watched it one night, or watched as much of it as I could. And I just said, man, this got put on Shudder. This got like a steel book, and I think I probably had a little bit of like should I kill myself?
Yeah.
Like, is there really any point to trying to make a movie? Because like I could just go film my nightstand for 2.5 hours and add some grain filter to it, and see, that's why I don't want to. Because props to them, they made a movie and they got it distributed through fucking Shudder. Like,
I've never seen a single person that has seen that and been like, oh no, that was good. I've never met a person.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's like, I don't know what was going on, but it's it's whatever. If you can only do one thing for the rest of your life, write your books or make films, what would you do?
Write books. Yeah, because I don't have to hire nobody. I don't have to schedule anybody. I'm doing my thing.
Yeah, that is the end of the podcast. I want to thank Dylan for sparing a little bit of his Sunday to record a podcast talking about some films and stuff. And thank you all for watching. Remember, he does have his Indiegogo live for the next, I believe, 60 days. Check it out. I will have links for it in the description. Thank you everybody very much. We will see you next time. Bye.